Ladies and gentlemen, we are back to the You Got a Minute Fam podcast. I don't know if it's working.
It's live.
Okay, it was just messing up. I guess I'll have to delete that. It was giving me some feedback. You Got a Minute Fam podcast. I am your host, Mish RC Carlton. And as always, I am joined by Actively Lazy 85. That means you're getting old. That 85. I remember when I was a young man. When I was a young
my
man,
gosh.
you know what would get me? That showed I was getting old. You look at the age to buy alcohol, and it always has that year. As I got older, I saw that year go
It
further
wasn't. It
and
wasn't the
further.
beard. It wasn't the beard true. I don't know why you had the audacity to come back on here and show your face, man. You need
But
to let
now
that.
I look younger now. I look younger than you, boy. What's going on? What's
Oh
up?
my god,
What's up?
you look like a recovering addict, is what you look like.
I'm ready, baby. I
Oh
am
man.
ready. Ready.
Hey,
Let's
look,
go
but no,
back.
for real, I'm rebranding myself, man. I gotta take that 85 out because I was thinking that too. People gonna really find out my age. You know how disappointed people are to find out that I'm 38 because they think I'm still like 28. So I'm just gonna go with that mysterious age because if they think I'm young, I can say stupid things and they'll forgive me.
Everybody knows what age you. Everybody know you in your 30s. Don't try to act
Nah, they
like
don't know that yet.
everybody
They
knows
don't
you
know
in
that
your
yet.
30s.
Nah,
Everybody
not at
knows you're in
all.
your 30s, man.
Not at
Don't
all,
act
man.
like everybody knows.
Hey, yo,
Although
leave
I
me
will say,
alone, bro.
although
Richard trolling me. Leave me alone,
I
Richard.
will say, big boys age real well. Like fat doesn't. It doesn't really age. It's just
Fat
there.
doesn't age. Wow.
It's like margarine. You
Absolutely
start.
crazy. Apparently, unhealthy lifestyle is supposed to lower your life expectancy. So maybe that's why they don't age; they die early. I'm not that fat.
Yeah, no, you're not. But I had to go there. You should call me a drug addict.
Hey, look,
The
hold on,
gloves,
hold
the
on.
gloves are off.
The air of drugs that you took, you guys do just fine. You're functional. You
Is it the
don't
Robert
overdose.
Downey kind of situation? Robert Downey
Yeah,
Jr.
it was a compliment. It was a compliment.
I'm not my dad. I can't go that hard. All right. A lot of talk about the MVP race. Gosh, it really is one of the more confusing years. I asked on the page, so I'll ask you, why do you think it's one of the more contentious or talked about MVP races?
Because QB play sucks this year.
Yeah,
I mean, let's just be honest. We have made this award so QB centric that when we have a year where the QBs are not really worthy, we don't know how to compute that. We don't know how to function. Like, do we give it to McCaffrey? Do we give it to Tyreek Hill? Well, I heard somebody say the other day, well, Tyreek Hill, he would have got it if he hadn't missed that game. A game, bro. That's what he misses one
they
game,
do
so
take
he
it from
can't get
people
it.
off.
Dak Prescott has had 3 to 4 bad games. Brock Purdy has had 3 to 4 bad games. The only one who hasn't had a bad game that you would consider MVP candidate is Lamar Jackson. And his stats, according to EPA and all the nerds, he's not worthy. So why can't these other two guys be in contention? Because we've made it QB centric.
Now, did we make it QB centric, or is it
100%.
because words, like my thing, words mean things. How could you take the value of a running back and a receiver and ever make it equate to a quarterback? Because at the end of the day, quarterbacks throw for 300 yards, running backs run for 100, receivers run for 100. So you're generating more offense based on your position. And with the passing game, the way it is, you're going to have quarterbacks for 5,400 yards and a running back great as 2,000 yards, setting records. So fundamentally, from a statistic and a tangible thing, quarterbacks are more valuable, even like the 20th quarterback. But if you want to get into like team building, and one of the guys from PFF calls it force multiplier, like the superhero whose job is to make everybody stronger. So maybe you could do that, but it's a lot more abstract. But value does have a meaning.
Well, Richard, Lamar is a running back playing quarterback, according to some people.
It's
So,
Ronnie with a Y. And
yeah.
believe it or not, Richard, right now, Lamar would have my vote. Now, if I could find a
Um,
way he doesn't, I will. But right now, Lamar has my vote.
But before we continue this, like, bro, I spent an hour yesterday cleaning out that office, and you got it blurred in the background. What's up with that, bro?
Man, you don't like
It's a clean residence. You got windows in the back with the view, man. You blurred it out. Let the people see,
it's the
man.
greatest
Dang,
view. It's the greatest view of the parking lot I've
dang,
ever
bro.
seen, girl. Um, I would support Lamar. My MVP votes. And what do you think about the Lamar situation? We can go through them. The Lamar situation, his stats, advanced or even normal stats, aren't great. But I've watched so many games.
I like
I
that.
felt
I
like
like that, Ben.
I felt like I had watched so many games where I felt like Lamar was a difference. And maybe he ran for 78 yards and threw for 200. But I still saw, or even 180. There are times when I'm watching the game. I'm not an eye test guy, but I'm watching the game and I can see who has the impact. I can see who has the impact of Josh Allen, even though he threw what? Barely any yards against the Cowboys. Josh Allen dominated that game from his presence, his strength, and all those kind of things. And I see the same thing with Lamar. So I don't think you can, Tony. That's not true. But yeah. So I with Lamar, I see it. I see the impact his runs. I see how he demoralizes competition. I see the impact of the huge plays he makes. That's why I put him first. And his team's really good. And yeah, his defense is really good. But can you be MVP without another elite thing going on your team? Probably not.
I mean, I don't know. Like again, what is truly the criteria that we grade MVPs
There
on,
is
man?
it's
We don't
subjective.
have one, and more than likely they need to be a quarterback, and their team needs to be a winning team. So by that definition, then Lamar he's the leading candidate. But if Lamar drops an egg on Sunday, then we go back to is it Dak or is it Purdy?
Yeah, it's too
which
much.
is
It's
which
too
is
much going back and
kind of
forth. It
silly.
shouldn't be a week by week thing. It's
It
it's like
shouldn't.
they forget whoever plays well, and God forbid they play each other. Then you know who they're going to do. But stylistically, who would I choose, Lamar or Dak? That's
That's
tough.
such a
I would
great
not
question.
want to give my
What
whole
do you
team
mean?
over.
It's not tough, man. Why do you do this? Why
It's
do you
tough.
do
It's
this?
so tough. Heck no, I don't want Lamar style. You
I
crazy?
mean that's the correct answer, Chris. It depends on what week it is. But look, here's the thing though. People got to let up off Lamar because when he does too much, it's not a winning brand of football. There's a limit. So
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson
that's what
has
they
a
done with
limit
Michigan.
to how much usage he can do or how much impact he can have in a game before mistakes get made. That's every quarterback. We don't really talk about it. All right, 98% of quarterbacks. We don't really talk about it, but I'll call it the Romo factor. If Romo was under 35 passes, generally he was winning. He was looking efficient. He was a good quarterback. When you get up to that 40 range, anywhere between 55, like there's guys in the league who shouldn't throw 55 times. There's guys in the league who shouldn't run 27, 28 times. Monken has found a balance to
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson,
I,
and it's not statistically as appealing, but it's a winning brand of football. And until we see it lose consistently or until we see it go into playoffs and not be functional, we need to embrace it. This is a better version of Lamar, not statistically, but a better version. And if that is the definition that I'm running with, he is an MVP candidate still. And
And
he
two, I think, it's also you got to look at what complementary football is. The
Mhm.
goal of football is not to go out there and throw for 300 yards or run from 100 yards. It's to play the best you can with the situations that are presented to you. So if it doesn't take that, like even like let's say I've been playing Madden a lot, but
Oh God, don't you
just
do
in
this to
Madden,
me.
just
Don't
imagine
you
Madden,
no God,
just
don't you do
imagine
this to
Madden.
me.
Because a lot of these coaches need Madden, don't they?
They do for
They
situational
do.
purposes.
So just imagine. So if you're up, you do how aggressive do you want to be? If you're up 10 and it's a low scoring game, are you okay with just, or let's say you're in third or fourth quarter, are you okay with going to field goal? It's a low scoring game to go up 13 instead of going for it to get another team chance? Sometimes it's just the grain, or do you just go more to running to try to, it's the game script sometimes. So you can't punish a player if you actually watch the game and the game script didn't go. The game script didn't give the ability to throw for 300 yards. Maybe the game script only went for complimentary football 250 or 200. I'm not going to punish a guy if I watched those games and I saw the impact he had.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody should be punished for winning a game. We do that though. We do that. Like people are winning and be like, oh, they didn't look good. At the end of the day, for the athlete, that is the ultimate goal is to win the game. But if
And
we're
most
talking about
coaches too.
yeah, and if we're talking about most valuable player, I think we need to really figure out the definition of what is the most valuable player. I think the criteria, obviously, they have to be on a winning team. Am I right?
Yeah,
And then I think we need to ask the question: if we didn't have this guy, if we had a lesser version, a B version of said player, would this team still win at the rate that they're winning at? If your answer is no, then that is the most valuable player, and I think they should be considered if they have some kind of statistical impact. Because again, you can be valuable but not have a statistical impact to the game, and I don't think that would qualify you. But if you have a statistical impact,
what I like to look at, in which I think is a falsehood, not what you're saying, but in general, people say, okay, if you took him off the team, what would he be? Well, that's based on the team's ability to have a good backup. Yeah. You know, it doesn't mean Joe Burrow is bad because Browning has been decent a couple of times. What it means is you might have a competent backup. So what you got to look at is what would this player look like, or what does this player totally bring to the game, bring to his team? So like if I gave a diamond ring to a dude, what is that worth? Not what is that worth?
What? A diamond ring to a dude? What are we doing?
To a guy in a jewelry shop.
Okay, all right. Finish your sentences, sir.
That is bad. That would examine the ring and appraise. If I gave a diamond ring to an appraiser and he appraised it, he would tell me what it was worth. I couldn't give him another worth based on what it's worth to my wife. To my wife, it might be worth $10,000, but to I'm losing myself in this analogy because you messed me up. But to the market, it's only $10,000.
I totally disagree there, Tony. I totally disagree there, and I'm not knocking Huntley. I just disagree that they look the same.
That's worse than your Wemby take. You need to be suspended. But anyway, I'm gonna keep the same. I'm a Lamar hater, and I know that's crazy.
Now I will say to Ben's question about Josh Allen, I did say several weeks ago that if the Bills won out with that stretch starting with the Cowboys game, if they won every single game and they won out, that he should be in the conversation for MVP. Yeah, because that matters.
Allen right now is the way Monken is using Lamar. You're using him as your big gun, as your big weapon, but you're not asking him every game to throw 40 times because you're not going to be successful.
I just don't agree I just don't agree with that, man. I don't agree with that. And I mean, Tomlin said it best. These divisional games, even if they're in the playoffs, you play a team 3 times. In this case, you play them all the time because they're in your division. Things are going to look a little different because you know each other so well. So in that sense, the drop-off might not look as bad because they know the Bengals. But ask yourself about like Monday's game. Would they look the same playing the Niners? Would they look the same playing maybe the Dolphins next week? Would they look the same playing the Lions, the Rams, all these other teams? Like division-wise, I feel like we kind of have to view that a little bit differently because teams are so familiar with each other. If I'm throwing a backup in a 1 or 2 game spot to win, I would much prefer it to be against a divisional opponent.
That made my point that Huntley's a decent backup. But that doesn't take. But can that team? It's like the best example is Tom Brady. It's like, oh, he's a system guy. He's a system guy because they went 11-5, 10-6, whatever without him. But guess what? The year before they went 16-0. So yeah, while they still were good or decent, but with Brady, they were the greatest offense of all time. So people don't look at that. People look at did they just go terrible? Well, no. Just like with Jordan. They had a good system in place and good people. But with Jordan, they won 3 straight. With Pippen, they won the semifinals. That's a huge gap. That's just as big as the gap from bad to medium. And probably harder to get from medium to really good. But people always look at, did they drop off? Well, the way the team is constructed with LeBron, I'm not even getting to that. The way the Cavs were constructed was different from the way the Bulls were constructed, and the same thing with the other teams. But let's move on to contender for pretender.
Wait, real quick, can I get this game manager thing off my chest, man? Because it still irks me.
Well, let's go there. Go to the game manager.
All right, look, game managers. There is a high percentage of quarterbacks that are game managers. My definition of a game manager, I could be wrong, but my definition of the game manager is that the team wins despite this person being below average at times. And on a consistent basis, the team will win despite this person being below average. If your team isn't overcoming your bad QB play on a regular basis, no matter how good they are, I don't think that person can be defined as a game manager. Like Dak Prescott, he's not a game manager, and I'm just using that because that was the one that kind of came up more predominantly. But at this point, Brock Purdy's not a game manager anymore. We don't win if he plays bad. We don't. Like, so you got to. I mean, it doesn't make him great. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make it. It's not saying that he's like, you know, the next greatest thing or the next Tom Brady or whatever the bar is. It's just saying that this person isn't just here and being carried. He's got to pull his weight. So I think there's a lot of guys who have been deemed better than or think you can put them in a different system and they're not a game manager or whatever. Like a system quarterback to me isn't an insult. Your team should build a system around their quarterback. Like that just makes sense. So I shouldn't be able to take Brock Purdy and put him in Dallas and he looked good because the system in San Francisco is built around him and the system in Dallas is built around Dak Prescott. They're two different people.
Part of it too. Like,
but yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get that on my chest. We got to stop doing that.
I think I have a lot of thoughts about this, and I've always had a lot of thoughts about this. Cam said it, but they like to say it on the Move the Sticks podcast. Good podcast, not as good as it would be because Red Lewis is on there, but still, Bucky and Daniel.
No, you said Bucky. Never mind.
But yeah, Bucky's awesome. So Mike Sando, I love this. My favorite article all year. He does the quarterback tiers, and he interviews like 50 to 75, 100, whatever. Football personnel people, general managers, scouts.
Did he ask Micah?
No, he didn't ask Michael. He says tier one is and he worked with other people on this. Tier one is defined as a quarterback who can carry his team each week. The team wins because of him. He expertly handles pure passing situations. He has no real holes in his game. So at the end of the day, if you're a game manager and you can't be hidden, and I remember Tom Brady used to do this all the time. 3rd and 10, 4th and 10, come up with the play that needs to happen. Can your game manager? Can he do that? Can he carry the team? Tier 2, which I still wouldn't say are game managers, but tier 2 are those who can carry his team sometime, but not consistently. So maybe you put you put Lamar in that situation. Let me see if I can find team 3. That's more of your game managers, but it gets complicated because somebody might not be a game manager, but they're not a tier 3. They're not a tier 1 person. Like nobody thinks Trevor Lawrence is a game manager. But he's not. He's more than that, but he's not elite either. You know. So let me look at tier 3.
I think Trevor's a perfect example.
You said what?
I think Trevor's a perfect example of that.
So it's a style of play where the coach and you are trying to hide your weaknesses and just keep the team afloat, and you don't get in the way. That's what I think game managers. And you can't say that's Brock Purdy. You can't.
I'm not even showing that comment, Ben. That's that. I know you're trolling.
And also, this one says a tier 3 quarterback is a legit starter, but needs a heavier run game and a defense to win. So that's tier 3. That's what a tier 3 is. And before the season they put.
But he can't though. That's my point. Is that he can't. That any QB can do what Purdy does. He can't. Kyle Shanahan's had plenty of people in that system over the years, and even if we'll take out Matt Ryan and we'll take out RG3 and Kirk Cousins. We'll talk about his tenure in San Francisco. Not every QB can do that. They can't run the system at the optimal level that Brock Purdy has done it over the last 2 years. That's why Brock Purdy has this team in contention as not undrafted, as a Mr. Relevant. Because he understands the system, it works with his eye, and he executes at a level that he's supposed to be able to do in the system. And it's just a perfect combination. I don't think any quarterback can do that. Hell, we could take Prime Cam and put him in this system. It wouldn't look that good.
And also, too, you have to really be studying. No offense to Cam, but he's not. He has no reason to be studying what Brock Purdy does on the All 22. But one of the things that maybe he wouldn't even know this because he's a physical beast. But one of the things that Brock Purdy does that's elite, besides processing and getting through his reads, is that he responds very well to late pressure and he responds to late movement. So if the if they change the look right before the snap, or if they change the look pre-snap, Brock Purdy is elite at recognizing that. The average quarterback is not that. But if you don't watch film, if you don't listen to film, that one thing that you can't see unless you watch a lot of film that makes him elite in that way. If you see his processing and the way he gets through progressions, and you see when you take his first option or your second option away, he still can get there quicker in a way that very few quarterbacks can in the league. That's not a system thing. That means the system that he has works with his brain.
And I'll also say, look, just because we don't agree with Cam doesn't mean that we think we know more than Cam. But there are some things that guys say. I'll use Michael Parsons as an example again, where he was like, there's no development throws. Bro, there's some hot buzzwords that people who, and I'm not saying watch film, but just in general, are watching the game and actually watching the game, not as a fan, but analyzing the game. Like, that's not true. No development throws, that wasn't true. It was far from the truth.
Let's not lose focus.
I
would say that also what we saw from Brock Purdy last year and this year.
I don't agree with that either.
He got plugged into a situation. We didn't know what he was. He protected the football. But Brock Purdy makes plays off schedule. I sent a message to Corey the other day and said, does this man think he's Brett Favre thrown across his body? Brock Purdy can not scramble as in get away, not run. Scrambling means you're running behind the line of scrimmage, not necessarily crossing the line of scrimmage. But let's get off this because that's too long on the game manager situation.
Nah, man, I want it to be a football podcast. Fuck that. No, I'm just playing.
Go ahead. Russell Wilson, they reached out to him in October, basically told him that he would lose his job and made inactive for the rest of the season. He called their bluff because they didn't want the injury trigger to take place. The injury trigger would be $37 million in 2025. Starting on March 24th, if he suffers a serious injury. What are your thoughts on all
what are my thoughts? All right, for starters, we owe Russell Westbrook an apology. He's actually a real one for telling them, nah, I'm good on that.
Right?
Yeah. He's actually a real one for standing on, as we would say, standing on business now. Because they threatened him. Like, they basically told him, like, change your contract or you're out of here. And he said no. And I agree with him on that. Like, the injury thing, like I told you, if I said Westbrook, I'm tripping. But the injury thing, like I told you, is ridiculous. Like, he's never had that real concern. And if that was truly your concern, get a better offensive line and do some other things. But don't wait until week 17 to be like, you can't play. We don't want you to get hurt. Come on, man. This is bad business. And fans, the league, we need to stand on it and tell them straight up, like, this is bad business. I'm not going to go on my NFLPA sucks rant, but case 1,254 of why the NFLPA is absolute trash. Why do I pay you to represent me and things like this can still happen to me? Trash.
Yeah, it's funny because this is why I root for the players to get everything they want. You can sign a contract and they can just renege. That you can just renege at any time. They can just find a way to, there's a caveat, there's something in the contract that changes it. So I say get every penny. You can't hold out more. But again, NFLPA does suck. You can't hold out anymore. Basically, it's punitive. You don't get the money back. You get contracts like this that are huge. And granted, he did not play to that contract. He did not play. But what if you outperform your contract? Do you always get rewarded? No. So you're already starting at an unfair balance. But honestly, I think the bigger story is that how Russell Wilson just lost it just like that. He may play better this year. But you want to know what a game manager is? That's Russell Wilson.
that's definitely him now.
Also, risk only when the game is on the line at the end. But that's what Russell Wilson. You're trying to hide him and his weaknesses because there are many now.
Also, what a terrible organization. Like, the trade was bad. How his ending is even worse because you're not making yourself presentable to free agents. Because who cares at this point if you're going to give you a big contract, because clearly they're not going to honor it in the end, especially if you underachieved. So, and then just the competitive factor. You're, again, like I told you in the office, you're telling me Jarrett Stidham gives this team a better chance to win than Russell Wilson. You're literally
That's your
calling
boy.
me stupid. I
That's
love
your boy.
Stidham. That is my boy, but that was my boy at Baylor. He ain't been my boy in the NFL. You're lying to me. You're calling me stupid. I don't appreciate it.
All right, let's I'm not feeling the Cam and Debo thing. Let's go issue or non-issue.
That was funny though. But go ahead.
Jonathan, we can go back to it. Jonathan Owens, who is the husband. Nobody would know him outside of this. Jonathan Owens is the husband of Simone Biles, and he went on the Pivot podcast, very good podcast, by the way. They said that they matched on a dating app. That's the first thing. Simone Biles had to get her jollies from a dating app. I didn't want to say a different word because kids are listening, but she had to find a man on a dating app. But he said he didn't know who Simone Biles was. Issue or non-issue, sir?
That's kind of an issue considering his age and what she's done for that generation. That's kind of an issue.
I mean, the Olympics are a weird thing. It's not like she's like, I don't know, like Baker Mayfield on commercials or how Travis Kelce is now on commercials. Mm-hmm. So he's not that kind of person. She's not that kind of person, but every 4 years, she is the most popular person like in the world for 2 weeks. So I understand, but at the same time, you're also an African-American, and it's really hard to miss our icons.
Yeah, especially in gymnastics, bro. She comes on, she's the feature athlete every 4 years.
And I feel like most people know who our gold medalists way back to Mary Lou Retton, Carrie Strug. We know who our gold medal people are. So he just said he was training and he didn't know. But
man, ain't no way, bro.
There's no way if you have social media, you missed out on it.
Yeah.
But like, you know what? I told my mom, I said, maybe this was his game. This is his way in. You can't let the story go now.
Well, she's not light skinned, so he could have just went on ahead and told the truth. If she was light skinned, then he would have to act like he didn't know who she was just to get her attention. That's how it goes.
All right. Issue or non-issue?
Why won't you confirm that though? Why you just go laugh like I'm lying? Am I lying?
I thought we were treading lightly on certain topics. I didn't know. I'm trying not to get you in trouble.
I mean, I get all that you guys are saying, like, but still, like, we're talking icons, like icons, cultural icons. That's the thing, man. It's a cultural icon.
I wouldn't say that's quite like it's like not knowing who the Williams sisters were before they got super good. Like once they first started winning, not now, the Serena's icon, but that's like saying you don't know who the Williams sisters are when both of them were like starting to win.
And it's an icon of your generation. That's even crazier. It ain't like she's older than them or younger than them.
People. So I have a hard time believing that. But hey, maybe he didn't, or maybe he knew the name, but that should have. Okay, this is what I don't believe. You don't know what she looked like, but you knew the name. You knew the name.
But can she confirm? Did she use her real name on Tinder? She just went in as Simone Biles.
At some point, he knew she was Simone Biles, though. It's like, come on, man. Tony going this far back. I mean, he might have stopped watching. He said he was training hard. But yeah, I don't believe him. I do not believe him. Next.
Okay.
Moving on. Michael Parsons put on his IG story. He's
issue.
Issue, non-issue. He's getting held by his Michael. I wish he would just shut the fuck up.
Stop crying.
He's getting held by two Dolphins, and he's ready to tackle Tua if he could get there. He says, "Free me, dog. Whatever I did to the officials, I'm sorry." Issue. You said it was an issue, right?
Yeah. Michael Parsons has talked about everything other than how the Cowboys can get better. Shut the hell up. Like, where's my Travis Kelce? We just got to make effing plays. Like, I need that out of Michael Parsons. I don't need to hear about his analysis on what they did for his podcast analysis. I don't need him commenting on the Niners losing is the best Christmas gift and all this stuff. I need the Cowboys to focus on winning, bro. Like, be a leader. Like, again, like I said, he's a pup still. He's still young. So that's why I'm giving him somewhat of a pass. But just, I went on the TJ Watt rant about this. Just shut up. You're going to get held. If you're an elite rusher, you're going to get held.
His constant is really bad this year, though, for everybody. But his constant need for attention bothers me. Like, why do you have to be out there like this? And you're motivating other teams. And it's another thing. We're just not a buttoned up franchise. Somebody just tell him you can't do this.
I also, I got to bring this up. It's hard to get held when you go back to the mic. Just saying.
Chill out.
Just saying. That's how you know he getting whipped. I just want to point that out again. I say it every time. I hadn't seen it outside of the Niners game, so it's nice to see that Mike McDaniels brought whatever we have on Micah Parsons scouting wise to the Dolphins, because I that was the second time this year I saw him move back to the mic for quite a long time. What happened to that?
Let's see what Ben just says. One of our listeners on YouTube, he says, "Oh, who would I want now, Micah or Miles?" Like I said, Miles Garrett is better, but the way I would want to play in an attacking way, be able to move them all over the line, to have that speed and aggression and versatility, I would rather have Micah on my defense. But I admit that Miles Garrett is better.
I would rather have the guy that wants to play football instead of podcast.
I think Miles is the most. I think Miles is. I mean, I think Micah's a little bit more versatile. Well, I know he's more versatile, so
yeah,
that's why I would go with that. But
amazing Mike linebacker.
I've always loved Miles Garrett.
I've never seen Miles Garrett move back to linebacker, so I'm not sure if I can evaluate that part of his game yet. But I think Micah shows on a regular basis that that he's very versatile. Well, whatever linebacker, Will, Sam, Mike, Micah, whatever he moves back to, when he ain't on a line of scrimmage, he's incredible, and I've seen a lot of that in these tough games. So I just want to point that out.
We can't get distracted by these. We can't get distracted by these comments. We got to keep it going.
You don't have a mic, actually. It's Micah. That was very corny, but I'm sticking with it.
That was a bad I think let's go back to Cam real quick, since you want to talk about that story. Evidently,
it's just funny.
Debo didn't like some of the comments that Cam made about Brock Purdy. So someone, Debo said he had receipts. So someone texted Debo that he thought was Cam. It was in Cam's font. That was the best thing. That probably is what made it go over the top, the fact that he thought it was Cam's font. If I had thought of it, I would have put this screenshot on here. But it says, "Yo, Debo, it's Cam. I'm trying to have you do the pod."
It's phenomenal.
Hit me back.
It was well done. It was well
done. The best
done.
part, it is pretty bad. Hit me back, Ace Boogie. And he says, "Who's this?" This is Debo. He said, "It's Cam, ISS." Then he says, You trying to hop on?" He said, "I don't know who this is." "Cam, killer." And then he says, "Fuck you, Debo." And Debo laughs. "Good game, TM, maybe been Tennessee. Y'all look good. A good game tonight. Y'all look
tonight, good." Yeah.
Evidently, he was fooled, and Cam came on cackling and rolling a blunt and cackling that it was fake, and he got fooled. This your player. This your guy.
I ain't gonna lie. You got to hold the L on this. This is embarrassing. This is the same. I'm going to say the same thing about Debo. I just want a receiver that's just going to play. Stay off social media. Stay off podcasts. Just play. But I got to say, what gave it away to me that it wasn't Cam was that last line about "good game tonight." Like, Cam ain't really that type of person.
No.
Like, he never really
stuck up because of the podcast. But why Cam not going to try to get him on the podcast after he said it about Brock. So
Cam's ego ain't gonna allow him to feel like he need anybody. Like, that sounded
that too.
Yeah, so
Cam has a very big ego.
That's a great prank. Great prank.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Debo looked like an idiot. I kind of like it. Anytime before now, looks like an idiot. All right, so Tyreek Hill. Well, now let's do Jair Alexander. You got that one loaded up?
Yeah, I got it loaded up. Let me play it right now. This is the Jair Alexander interview. You guys should be able to hear it.
Were you supposed to be a captain?
Yeah, I mean, it's only suiting, I don't think Coach knew I was from Charlotte, so.
So you just did that on your own?
I mean, it was like the guys backed me up, so.
He stopped. Did
you realize you almost...
Oh, all right, I apologize.
So if you didn't catch it, the background, folks, is that he went out there and he basically said the defense should start the game when they won the coin toss. They wanted to defer. So on his own, because he's from Charlotte, he decided the defense should start, which is a critical thing because if you defer, you can get the ball back at the end of the second half. You can get the ball back. So you can get like an extra possession. If you have the ball last, you score it, then you get it back. So it's really a critical thing. And this man's logic was, I'm in front of my people in my hometown. So I'm going to show out by making the defense start first. So many things wrong with that.
I mean, you heard him. The defense starts first. What's so confusing about that? You want me to finish playing it?
Yeah.
Almost made a big mistake on the call, though.
What I do?
Well, you said we want to go on defense,
What I do?
which in theory they could have said, then you're electing to kick off, which you would have lost the opportunity then to receive in the second half.
Yeah, no, I told them that. I said I want our defense to be out there, and they all looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, I mean, it's pretty simple what I said. Like, I want the defense to be out there. They like,
you
mean
understand
defer?
English?
I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody was laughing. I'm like, what y'all laughing at? Like, it's pretty.
You don't get it.
That's the best part. Was do you mean defer? Yeah, I guess. Can I just also?
No idea.
We need to save this and frame it as like Exhibit A. Just because you're a professional athlete in your respective sport doesn't mean that you know everything about your respective sport. Like
Or anything, evidently.
but how have you never been?
Their job.
How have you never been a captain before and called a coin toss?
And why would you think you get to? But he wanted. It was his people.
But it's defer from Little League all the way through professional sports. You've never been a captain and heard or known to say defer?
I don't know. I think he knew.
In flag football is like that. I don't
the fact that he
understand.
doesn't get it. This is after they suspended him, I think. So the fact that he doesn't get it is really wild. It is unbelievably wild that he doesn't get it even after they've spoken to him. So it's
they're sitting him in the middle of a playoff hunt. That's how serious they took it.
Jefferson
Against the division rival.
What about a fine? Because there's Justin Jefferson. You're gonna need a little help on that.
He's got Nick Mullins. He's got Nick Mullins throwing on the ball. That's
no, it's Jaron Hall now.
Oh, Jaron Hall. Okay, well then that's fine.
How to update. But
so it'll be 5 to 7 yard routes. 5 to 7 yard routes. Great.
All right, let's move on. My man Tyreek Hill has been enjoying himself in Miami. I've only been to Miami once, and that was like 20 years ago, and I was married, and I was in a Jesus freak phase. So I didn't get to totally enjoy Miami the way I should have. I was a pup, and I was a pup, and I believed some lies. And I want to go to Miami. Maybe we can, once we get big, we can go down there. We can have some trouble. But
who is this we that you speak of, bro?
I must be talking about Dalton. Yeah, Dalton.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tyreek Hill, evidently, rumors and innuendo has gotten his third child, his third woman pregnant with his third child. Oh my God, just this year. So he got 3 babies on the way or have been born this year. Miami has been very good to him, but bad for his wallet.
I don't know. What am I supposed to say to this? No, I'm joking. But the Miami thing is throwing me off. I don't know. I feel like I need to go to Miami with the other Carlton. I don't feel like you and me would mesh in Miami. You got these,
man.
Yeah, but I bet he could still stay awake past 10 o'clock. You be missing the NBA tip-offs.
When I do cancel the show, sir.
Man.
What do I cancel the show for? So obviously I can stay up to chase.
Hey, yo, that's wild, man. Not you putting this business out there like that. Wow. But no, anytime you got a baby by another woman before the first baby come out, that's scandalous. Not once, but twice.
You can't have 2 women pregnant. You can't have 2 women pregnant at the same time.
I'm doing the math. 3 in a year, there's 12 months, and it's 9 months for each baby, and you got 30. The math ain't mathing. That ain't a
Bible say be fruitful and multiply.
That's what the Bible say. Bible also warn you about angry women too, right?
Yes, they're gonna get what they want out of the situation. They're gonna get their revenge one way or the other. So it's not. But yeah, the man living his best life.
He was a 4-2,
and I don't think he's done. You put your over under on how many kids he gonna have.
2. I put it over 2 if he get this MVP.
Just 2? He got 3 now. Over under how many kids gonna be born total?
I mean, after the MVP, he got
5 for the rest of his career. Total 5. He got 3. I think he's going over. I think he'll get 7, but 5 is a safe number.
This is that Samoan influence. Tua's people got to him. That's what it is, man. When he was with Patty, he ain't had that many kids.
They have family atmosphere though. Those Samoans very family.
Those Samoans
Tua's
are the village.
He'll still whip. He'll still whip Tua if he have bad game. We have more than a sports page. I'll let you take over because you really enjoyed this story.
Oh, what? Nah, what do you mean? Everybody should enjoy it. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Cameron story about Halle Berry, but it's the ending. It's the ending that gets me, man. It's not. I mean, Cam's a great storyteller, and we've obviously experienced that with his podcast with Mace and everything, the sports podcast. Mace is so good. They have great chemistry. Maybe one day we could get like that, but you got to get out more. In the meantime, I'm gonna play the story so y'all can hear it. And for the non-African Americans that are listening, Google the actor at the end to see who it is, and tell me you're not laughing.
I love Halle Berry, right? So one day I'm at I was just getting a record deal, so we just got finished playing basketball in LA. I'm at the ATM, and niggas is like, yo, it's Halle Berry next to you. I got no haircut, I got no shirt on. I'm like, yo, let me talk to you real quick. She's like, no. You have to relax. I'm like, hear me out. So she walked into her car mad fast, and I'm following her. But I had a cassette tape. My promo was cassette tapes at the time before CDs came out. So I'm like, at least let me just give you my tape. So she rolled the window down this much. There was a nigga in the passenger seat. Laid back.
And I apologize for the N-word
usage. Through there and gave her my fucking my promotion. It wasn't my album. It was one of them shits where you got like the snippet songs on there.
DAC.
So I gave her that shit. So like 6 years later, I'm platinum and all this other shit. I'm at the American Music Awards, and I'm in there with mad niggas, Nelly in there. I'm in there with fucking Tyson Beckford, Lorenz Tate.
6 years,
all these people
bro.
coming up to me, Kim,
Imagine
I love you. So
this.
Lorenz Tate like, yo, my nigga, I fuck with you, nigga. You one of my favorite. Yo, you my nigga, yo. For years. You know I was me in the passenger seat with Holly when you slid the joint there. So that was you, my nigga?
Lorenz Tate, bro. Lorenz Tate. Do you know how hilarious that is?
I'm going to say a few things here.
Go ahead, bro. It's funny.
This story happened back when I was very black back then. So I couldn't name this many black actors now. But I definitely can name the guys he said, Tay Diggs, Lorenz Tate, the 90s guys that were really good. But basically, this story is too black for me, so that lost me.
Are you kidding me? Bro, Love Jones, Menace to Society, Dead Presidents, Lorenz Tate. Yeah, I'm just saying, culturally, you know who he is. Now imagine the idea that he's in the car with Halle Berry, bro. That's hilarious.
I think Halle Berry, I feel like Halle Berry is real free with it. As beautiful as she is, she's real free with it.
She can do that because
Ric Flair said he got it one time. Ric Flair said he knocked it down. So I mean, there's a lot of men out there that say they knocked it down. Maybe it's just because it's like the Super Bowl, so many people try. It's like one of the titles. Like if you say Halle Berry, and that's on your resume, you set. I might not want to continue. It got to be downhill from there.
It's Hall of Fame worthy. It's Hall of Fame worthy. It's the oh my god, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Wait, let me make sure ain't nobody looking at this on my profile. I don't see anybody on there. I hope my mom ain't listening, but it's the albatross of pussy. That's what it is.
It had to be about 90.
If you land Halle Berry, you have officially done something that only few men that we know of could talk about it. You're in a select society. You actually now hold the green jacket. There you go.
But
that's how selected.
Light-skinned dudes. She had that
all over the place
for a while, and she was with David Justice. I think
Eric Benet and I think Eric Benet cheated on her. David Justice kind of knocked her out.
He smacked her and cheated on her, I think.
Yeah, he did both.
They had to fight at the house. It was two of her people. One Thanksgiving, maybe 5 years ago, this fight between baby daddy and current, but I'm not sure what it was. I would assume not around 96, 97, considering he was just getting started.
And and I agree. Thank you, Tony.
I'm not throwing Halle away now.
I like your contributions now. This is prime Halle.
If you say Halle Berry's name, black, white, blue, Asian, nobody's ever said that's not an attractive woman. You know what I mean? It's like 100% universal. Might be the GOAT. Vanessa Williams is my GOAT. But come on, Halle Berry. Like I still say Halle Berry. If I'm gonna say if Halle Berry walked through that door, if you're doing those examples, I still say it because everybody knows who she is, But yeah, that's a pretty good score. Give me some predictions real quick before we go out. Give me some predictions.
Got you, baby.
College football.
Bama versus Washington. Washington wins outright, baby. Washington is your national champion because the Pac-12 or the Pac-12 that we used to know deserves to go out on top.
That would be great, but that's
great. Man, it's the perfect time for it to happen. Chaos.
Here's what I'm gonna do. Because I don't think Alabama's that good. I'm gonna go with my heart. I never go with my heart.
Oh my God! Here you go. Pick Michigan, so they can lose. Thank you. Thank you. The worst thing that can happen to listen to that song. That fight song even sounds terrible. The worst thing that can happen to college football is Michigan wins.
It's tight when it's tight when the band plays it.
Never experienced that.
No. Michigan against Washington. Michigan. John Harbaugh.
They 100% don't want it with Washington. Washington runs the same tempo that they have struggled with every time they run across it. And I promise you, Michigan hasn't changed. So no, they absolutely don't want it with Washington. If you're Michigan, you're hoping that Texas wins. And even then, I don't think that helps them either. But whatever.
Nah, they definitely beat Texas. Get out of here, man. Don't give me that hook.
All right. Mark is a magician, bro. You think, for real, let's pause for a second. You really think this man Harbaugh could out-coach Sark? Because that's what it's going to come down to.
Over Vanessa Williams. That's an insult. Vanity over Vanessa Williams. Come on. Man. Anyway,
I do love Vanity, though. I do love her. I do. I mean, I ain't saying I would take Vanessa. I would take her over Vanessa.
I'm saying Vanessa's the GOAT. I don't want to hear it. And they try to disgrace her. Yeah, can you imagine now if they had
is my mom on this? If my mom's not on this, can I just be honest and say why not both?
Dang, I never had a problem with that either. Vanessa's all right though. I haven't seen Vanity. She live.
I don't want to talk about it, bro. Change subject. You're a jerk. You're a jerk.
Oh, so I got Michigan winning it. You got Washington winning it.
Yeah,
I think we covered everything. You got any new projects down the pipeline?
I will be saying. So I am going to branch out and do my equivalent of an all access podcast called Fair Game, where it'll start with me and my guy Paul from the Mod Pod, but it's no topics are off limits. So things might get a little crazy, not with Paul because Paul's very, very proper, but anybody from our IBN After Dark page that people don't talk about anymore, if they want to come in and talk about stuff, essentially anything, any topic will be on the table, and that'll be every week, probably on Thursdays, with a couple little segments in there for other people to come on. But yeah, that's the only thing I got outside of the ESPN stuff, and I'll let y'all know about that when it pops off.
For me, on this little vacation, I'm gonna try to put up some YouTube stuff or some social media content for some of these movies I've been catching up on my break because I don't have anything else. Well, I do have other stuff to do, but I don't have anything else to do hypothetically. So for Rodney, Allen, Sandy.
Wow, bro.
Mitch.
Wow.
That's you, right? I got it right.
Yo.